Are we good to go? Okay, good morning, everyone. This is our media briefing for November 24th. Thank you very much for attending this morning. The winter storm that we've experienced this morning during our commute did not slow down our utility crews or street crews in their efforts to restore and clean up after the storm. You'll hear a few updates from Avista as well as Inland Power. Both of those have restored customer services to locations overnight and continue to do that this morning. Getting the heat and lights back on in our community is the number one priority of all of us. The regular operational briefing, which has just been going on just a matter of a few moments ago, wrapped up, and Governor Inslee, who has had an assigned staff member with us the entire time, attended that briefing. Our greatest challenge in the upcoming hours will be the potential wind event that may very well occur this afternoon. Gusts are expected to reach 30 miles an hour out of the northeast through Wednesday evening, which creates a couple of concerns for us. First, we have a lot of trees that were obviously weakened by the storm. In addition to that concern, this direction isn't customary, and we discussed that a little bit yesterday. The customary wind here is out of the southwest. A wind out of the northeast certainly can be challenging to the trees in our community. The combination of those and unstable trees out there in the community already will create or could create some extreme situations, and caution is in order for all of us. We'd like to remind drivers to please continue to drive carefully. Thank you for not putting any more burden on our system. We would also ask that you watch for utility crews and street crews as they continue to do their work in our community. And again, monitor traffic signals that still may be without power. If it's without power, it's a four-way stop. Let's keep that in mind. Let's continue to do a good job on that. Walkers within our community, let's be careful that if there is snow out there that it's not covering up power lines. Be vigilant in what you're doing. Watch as you move forward in our community. Finally, as the Department of Emergency Management, we've worked closely with our community partners and have been monitoring the needs of resources available very closely. We've had great cooperation in this community to address this issue, and I do not want to lose that in all of this. It's been a great effort on everyone's behalf. We recognize that some people do not have power. We recognize that. Everyone here is working to take care of those needs in a very uniform manner. Our top priority will continue to be the reopening of roads and the restoration of power to everyone in our community. Crews for the county and the city and other municipalities have been working around the clock to see that we provide safety for each and every member of our greater community. The utility crews have continued to work around the clock as well, and we have worked very much in unison with those folks as they continue to work to restore your power. They've made great progress over the last number of days and will continue to push forward in that effort as their number one goal is to restore power to each and every member of our community. Governor Inslee has been kept abreast from us throughout this entire event. The governor had a representative from his office immediately within our Emergency Coordination Center, and that individual has been with us the entire time. As a matter of fact, she was the direct link to the governor's office, as well as emergency management on a state level for a number of days for us and assisted us in this effort. We very much appreciate her being here and the governor today firsthand to see the damages. It has been a very good and coordinated effort with the governor's office. So with that, I'd like to turn over the microphone to Governor Inslee for a few comments. There you are.
Good morning. We know statewide this has been a very long and very, very tough week for Spokane County. This county has been tested as it never has before. This is the worst storm in Spokane County history, 180,000 people out of power. Still, we have 21,000 people. And for those 21,000 people without power today, I know this week has seemed like at least a year of frustration. But I can report to you that, and I can report to the rest of the state, that Spokane County has shown its inland strong in the last week. I've seen inland strong just in the last hour and a half since I've been here. I've seen inland strong on the the linemen and women who have pulled 36-hour straight shifts when they first got here the first couple of days, and they've been on 16-hour shifts since then. I've seen in strong from the emergency personnel that have done such a great job minimizing the trauma and risk associated with that. We've been happy that we've avoided further tragedies. We've had some carbon monoxide incidents, but because people have been so good spreading the information about the danger of generators, we've avoided huge tragedy that can result from generators. I've seen Inland Strong for a group called COAD, which I'm so impressed about. I just was meeting with the emergency personnel talking about this COAD organization, which has created this tremendous sense of coordination of multiple nonprofits. And I know the thing that has been so impressive that we've had individuals pitch in with the COAD and nonprofit groups, churches and others. I mean, I just saw a picture of a young woman, a civilian apparently. I remember she had a little white stocking hat on, knocking on a door doing the wellness checks to make sure that we get the most fragile people, that we do these wellness checks. This has been a really, really impressive effort in Spokane County to care for those who are fragile. And we know it's in the shelters. I just heard about a man who's been just a volunteer who's been doing 12-hour shifts down at the shelter in downtown for 7 days straight. So I'm going to report to the state that Spokane County has done as well as you can possibly do in a very, very difficult week. Now, we know we have more work to do. We continue to encourage people to be safe. We want to ask neighbors over the Thanksgiving holiday, well, we still may have some people out of power, including the mayor. I think it's pretty impressive that the mayor is out of power. It shows that he's just one of the crew in Spokane County, and we appreciate his leadership, which has been really effective during the last week. Our state effort will remain available to help any way we can with local agencies. Melissa's been here on a daily basis, and I've been appraised of this on a daily basis. But now we will swing in, hopefully, in the recovery phase, and there's more work to be done. In the next week or so, we will be accumulating information about the damages in Spokane County, and we will be seeing whether or not we can qualify for any federal disaster assistance. That remains to be seen. There are two levels: one, individual assistance; a second, public assistance to public agencies. We know those sometimes can be higher bars to jump over than we would like. We actually we got over the public bar in the fires this year, but not the private assistance bar. But we're going to ask everybody we can to coordinate their information so we can get information to the state, and we can coordinate that approach to the federal government if, in fact, it is warranted. So I'll be telling you in our household, and I know many households across the state, we'll be having a lot to say thanks for this Thursday, and that's going to be thanks for the Inland Strong people of Spokane County. Look forward to keep working with you.
Thank you, Governor. It is good to have you here. And again, I'll reiterate, Melissa's been a key connection to your office and to the executive agencies of the state. We only can be Inland Strong with a strong state, and thank you for that support. Storm cleanup and power restoration have been the highest priorities for our team. The welfare of our friends, family, and neighbors in making sure that those resources that we have get to them and they know about them is really what makes us Inland Strong. It's been amazing to watch our community come together in organized efforts and informal neighborhood groups also. Approximately 250 volunteers have knocked on more than 4,300 households over the past few days. We continue that effort today with more around 100 volunteers and our goal of knocking on 3,000 doors today. City shelters have sheltered about 200 of our most vulnerable per night. The Spokane Fire Department has checked on 135 homes over the city that were hit hard in this storm and making sure that they still have the structural integrity. The 911 calls are still continuing to be slightly elevated, and so is our Spokane Police Department has stepped up their neighborhood patrols, especially in the areas that still are darkened. We also have, at our peak, we had some 63 traffic signals that were out of commission. We're now down to 3, and 83% of the trees that inhibited our right-of-ways have been removed. Calls to 211 have skyrocketed over the last day. The governor and I just received that briefing, but we're continuing to facilitate the needs that those that are calling 211 need. Even today, as we see firewood needs increase, the city will be dispatching teams to do that. Today also, because of the snow event, some crews that are in our street department have been moved to make sure that our streets remain safe. And so we will continue to do that over this storm event. You know, the way that our community has rallied is absolutely astonishing. This team here at the Department of Emergency Management, the governor commented, the organizations involved with the COAD is also critical, as we will hear today, of more resources being available over this holiday time. Please know that you have not been forgotten. We have even now started to knock on some of the doors a second time, knowing that that after 3 days you might have had some needs, but now after 6 or 7 you may have different needs. So we will be going out in some of the same and some of our hardest hit neighborhoods to continue this effort to make sure people know that they have the resource. We have the resources for them. The volume of work is unseen in our history, and everyone stands committed to getting that work done. We truly are inland strong. And with that, I'll turn it over to our partners at the Spokane County, Commissioner Todd Milkey.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good morning. It's still morning. Thank you all for being here. We continue to make progress. I do want to, before I get started though, I do want to thank the governor for coming over personally and checking on Spokane County. And certainly we recognize Melissa Carpenter, his Eastern Washington director, has been a part of these discussions from day one. So our county emergency management agency has been in close contact with the governor's office. We did jointly declare an emergency. So that does allow us access to resources if needed. And so as we've identified purposes where those might be needed, certainly we're ready to call upon those. So far, we're doing pretty well. Just to report on where we are with regard to Spokane County. We've been making great progress. We have cleared all of our roadways. I haven't had a chance to check with the engineer this morning, but prior to last night's storm, all the roadways were cleared. We did have one traffic signal that was still out at the intersection of Farwell and Pittsburgh. That's a relatively new stoplight, so we want to make sure that we caution people that may not be accustomed to seeing that one. If it's in the dark, we want to make sure that they're treating that as a four-way stop. This morning, we did anticipate the storm. Certainly, we've been working to get the same weather briefings that many of you have heard. It was a little bit icier than we anticipated, so we've had we've had our de-icing crews out. Weather, I think, is going to benefit us this afternoon. Hopefully, those roadways begin to dry out, but we do know that roadways are going to get very cold again this evening. So, asking people to take due caution, be very prepared for black ice. And icy conditions in the morning. With regard to our 911 crime check, as the mayor suggested, we are seeing call volumes begin to return to normal. They're only slightly elevated at this point. We are also utilizing scope volunteers through the sheriff's office. They are patrolling neighborhoods that are still darkened to not only make sure that there's a presence that is visible, but also looking for any suspicious activities as well, so that people aren't victimized during this the storm event. And they are utilizing marked cars that look very much like the cruisers that law enforcement uses. The other thing that we are doing with regard to scraps, a lot of people forget that we also have animals and as our extended family to deal with. And we are doing a number of things with scraps. First of all, if you are without power and want a place to go warm up, recharge your phones, and have a pet that you need to take with you, go to Scraps. We have a community room that's warm, that's welcome to you and your pet. That you can hang out and like I say, deal with some of those needs. For those that still are without power but are sheltering with friends or relatives and still have a pet in a cold home, you can also shelter those at Scraps for free. And so we will take care of those. Also want to point out that we have a number of storms, I'll call them storm strays. For whatever reason, a lot of fences came down. Certainly because of the winds, but cats usually hunker down and stay in place. Dogs just run and keep running and running. So we have about 20 stray dogs that have been picked up. As people get settled and back into their homes, check with scraps if you're missing a pet. Also should say that we happen to be overflowing with cats for adoption, separate from those that are strays. Usually we share those with other communities across the state, and we've not been able to coordinate the transportation of those. So anyone that's looking for a new family a member in the form of a feline, for the next 2 days, stop by Scraps. We're going to make you a heck of a deal, just in time for the holidays. The other thing is we are working with the shelter at the Girl Scout location. We're also co-locating an animal shelter there for those that are with pets. We continue to see pets there. That is stationed, or I should say that is staffed 24 hours a day. We've actually had volunteers fly in from all over the United States from the American Humane Society that are volunteering their time. Those are 2 12-hour shifts that we are staffing around the clock. Finally, with regard to solid waste, we know that there's still a lot of storm debris for people to clean up. We anticipate that where they can, they might take a break for Thanksgiving and then get back hard at it over the weekend. We are partnering with the City of Spokane to continue to accept storm debris for free through Sunday. For Spokane County, the location that we're asking people to take that debris to is the North Transfer Station in Colbert. They are accepting all sizes of material, although we are asking people to throw the bigger stuff off in a separate pile so that hopefully we might be able to utilize that for firewood for those that need it. Again, that debris is being accepted through Sunday close of business. The transfer station will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, but will operate normal hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those hours are from 8:30 to 4 p.m. So anyone that's still doing storm cleanup, I think we are supposed to get brisk but sunny weather, can certainly make use of those facilities. With that, I'll turn it over to Spokane Valley.
Thank you. Mike Jackson, City Manager for the City of Spokane Valley. And I also would like to thank Governor Inslee for being here today, for the state support, and for having staff present here at the Department of Emergency Management throughout this crisis. So many of these themes are common to all of the agencies during this region-wide storm and cleanup, but I would like to mention a few things specific to the City of Spokane Valley. We have removed all of the tree blockages in the roads, and to my knowledge, we've removed all of the debris back to the private property line. So the city cleared the debris that was in the street, the right-of-way, and from the sidewalks. And our crews are out. They continue to clear debris as it is identified. And again, a common theme throughout the region, many of our maintenance crews are now busy with de-icing and sanding roadways to keep the roadways safe. We have initiated the tree removal in our city parks. The trees are still very dangerous, not just the ones in the parks, but any trees. They can move, they can shift, a limb can break, they can drop to the ground. So please stay away from the trees and keep the children away from the trees. They are, in fact, very dangerous. All of the traffic signals are back in service in the City of Spokane Valley, so we thank Avista for that. One of the signals is currently running on a generator at Argonne and Knox, but we're very happy to have those signals back up. We do have the Spokane Valley Library available, as well as some of the other resources that have been mentioned for warming or to read a good book just to get out of the chill. That facility will be closed Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. The Spokane Valley University Road Transfer Station, again, another option for disposal, is available. That is at University and Montgomery in the Valley. They will accept all sizes of tree debris, and they will be closed for Thanksgiving Day only, but reopen on Friday. And through the Spokane Valley Permit Center, we have had a few phone calls from individuals whose insurance company requires some type of permit in order to finalize their claim. So anyone that runs into those circumstances can call the city for free. The city will issue an informational permit if needed so you can move forward with your insurance company. And the number to call in the City of Spokane Valley for any reason or any report is 921-1000, and that number will be checked throughout the holidays. So if you have calls throughout the holiday, we will respond to those calls. And now I'd like to introduce Scott Morris, President of Avista.
Thank you. Well, good morning. Can't believe the storm hit last Tuesday. So this has been, I think, a week that we're all many of us will never forget. And I know that the ordeal certainly is not over for our customers and our crews. I want to focus today on our plan to restore the remaining 19,000 customers that have been without power for those 7 days. And our top priority remains the same. It's to restore power as quickly and as safely as possible to all of our customers. You know, we are keenly aware of the hardship, the stress, the frustration that people are experiencing, particularly now adding on to this morning's snow, and you hear reports of maybe a northeast wind coming. These remaining homes and businesses are in the hardest hit areas, and not only have they been without power, but you know that many have experienced some amazing personal property damage. We've all seen the pictures. It's heartbreaking to see what's happened to some people's property. And our team is doing everything we can to expedite the work. So here's our work plan over the next 24 to 48 hours. As a reminder, right now we've got over 100 crews deployed across Spokane, which is the hardest hit area. We've got more than about 120 to 30 crews working on a rotational basis in Spokane in that same time frame. We just actually got more crews this morning. Grant County PUD was nice enough to send some more people over. So we are continuing to ask for resources, and our sister utilities continue to support us, and we're very appreciative of that. So right now we've got about 700 individuals working in the field, and most of those are experienced line crews, line workers. And just to give you a perspective of that, that's 5 times our typical line work operations in our entire company. And that's 10 times the number of line operation workers we have usually in Spokane. So we have asked and people have responded. Remember that they are working 16-hour shifts. When those crews first came on, many of them worked a 36-hour shift. They took an 8-hour rest. And since then, they have been working 16 hours with an 8-hour rest period. If we've been in your neighborhood and it seems like everybody else's power is on and yours isn't, would you please call us? Because we know that as we leave one of those trunk line feeders, there could be places where service lines from the pole to your home maybe was torn down in the storm, and we might not have seen it. We might not know about it. So please call us. We've had 24-hour, 7-day-a-week staffing. We're there to answer the calls. If you do not have power and you think, gosh, it looks like my neighbors are on, how come I'm not? Call us so we know. You've heard that many of us have seen this as the most devastating storm in our 126-year history, and it's true. We've never faced a storm of this magnitude. So at this hour, we have restored power to over 160,000 customers, and that's about 90% of the 180,000 who lost power at the height of the storm Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We've got about, like as I said, 19,000 left to restore power to, and we have not taken our eye off the ball. So let me focus on what we're going to do. By midnight Wednesday, we are targeting to have power restored to the vast majority of those remaining customers, barring any unforeseen weather or other events. As an aside, this morning, a car slid in and hit a pole this morning. On the way to work, we lost 2,000 customers. We have a couple of hotspot crews. I can't control driving, so there might be some of that going on. I think they might have come back on, I'm not sure, but that's happening as we speak. We also know that there could be some customers who are still without power, as I said, so please call us. So based on what we know, we're estimating that we may or may not be able to get power on to maybe, I think on the high end, as many as 5,000 customers by Wednesday night at midnight. But that's an estimation. We're working hard to make that number 0, but I want to set that out there that it could be that high. Again, we're working in some of these very challenging areas. They're high-risk customers in challenging areas, and I would say that the areas that we've been high risk from a tree perspective, and I would say that the 3 areas that have been hardest hit for us is the 99205 zip code, the 99203 zip code, and the 99223 zip code. And if you live in those neighborhoods, I'm sure you know that. So what are we doing right now to get service restored to those customers? We've got about 20 crews working as we speak in the 99205 zip code in Northwest Spokane. We've got 15 crews assigned to the 99223 zip code on the South Hill, and we've got another 25 crews right now working in the 99203 zip code. And that's what I referred to as kind of the ground zero area yesterday, where that's the swath that really got hit the hardest. We're confident with our staffing that there could be a few customers that could get into Friday, but again, those are probably customers that we don't know about yet, and or the damage could be so extensive that it could take a while for us to literally rebuild feeders to get into some of these areas. I mentioned yesterday that we had one crew work an entire 16-hour shift to restore power to 8 customers because it's so hard. And it's difficult news for me to share, but I want to assure you that we are making arrangements for the holidays. So rest assured that our crews will be working through Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, to continue the time-consuming and labor-intensive work they're facing in the field. That's what our linemen do. They're amazing people, and they just know that's part of their job. So we will have crews working until power is restored. I just want to share one. I've been sharing stories with you every week, or every day this week, excuse me. Another interesting story I heard from a crew this morning. We had a crew that was preparing to begin work as they were inspecting the feeder. A general foreman saw a tree laying on a garage, and he was talking to the customer, and you couldn't tell that there was a pole underneath the tree laying on the garage. So he's glad that the customer told him. And then the customer said, you know what, there's this great thing inside my garage. Could you come take a look? Well, we went inside his garage. The tree had hit the power line. The power line had and the tree is on the guy's garage, and the transformer was laying on his car. So that's just an example of kind of complex situations that some of our crews are facing every day. The situation, you guys have seen the damage. It's really extensive, and I've had an honor to talk to many of these hero crew members that have come from 6 Western states in Canada. And almost to a person, they do this for a living. They work lots of different outages and storms. That's what they do. And I think every one of them has said pretty much, if this isn't the worst storm they've ever worked, it ranks right up there for them as one of the all-time worst. So when you're getting it literally from the pros in the field, you know how tough it is. I do want to just end by expressing some thanks, first and foremost, to you, our customers. The support and kindness that you have been showing our people is just amazing. It is really heartwarming. You've brought coffee and food to our crews. You've sent letters of support. As you drive around town, you see thank you signs on billboards and in people's windows. You come up and shake our linemen's hands. This kind of support makes a huge difference for our crews when they're working 16 hours a day for over a week. A kind smile, a thumbs up makes a big difference. Thank you. The stories we've heard about people helping their neighbors is even more heartwarming. Strangers helping strangers in some cases, and neighbors helping neighbors. It's an amazing community that I live in, and I'm very honored to live here. And coming together in crises like this make me even more honored to be a part of Spokane. So thank you for taking care of each other. I want to thank some partners too. I want to thank our Mayor Condon and the City of Spokane and Fairchild Air Force Base. In the heart of this storm, there was many places that we couldn't get power to. So the city and Fairchild gave us generators so that we could get many of our vulnerable customers back up, particularly nursing homes or retirement centers and other places that we've been able to do. And so thank you, Mayor, and thank your team. I want to thank our county commissioners. They've been awesome to work with as the crews of city and county. Kathy McMorris Rogers has helped us with some administrative things. So Congresswoman Rogers, thank you very much. Our first responders, the nonprofit agencies, countless many people that have been doing amazing work. So I know our linemen are the most important people to get power on right now, but there's been a lot of people that have been doing some really important work to make this happen. And I did mention, if you do have a chance, you see some of those line trucks around town. Remember, these linemen are from Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Montana, and we've got crews from Canada. So if you see them and you talk to them, thank them. They're away from their family for Thanksgiving. It's really nice that they're here, and you've really made them feel a part of our community. A lot of our employees have been working around the clock to restore power, support the crews. And it's just been an amazing effort by our employees. You know, a lot of our employees, I do want to say this, and we still have many of our linemen that have been working these shifts and they don't have power at their own home. So if you can imagine working a 16-hour shift, coming home to a cold, dark house, trying to get your 5, 6 hours of rest, then going out and hitting it again, even makes an even a more amazing story for a lot of our employees. And then finally, I do want to thank our governor. Having Governor Inslee today, I think means a lot to all of us. I want you to know the governor called me very early in the storm to check in. That's the kind of person he is. He's here to lend his support to us and always lends his support to our state. And and he's really somebody who sets the tone about how our entire community really gets together to help each other. He's modeled that, and he's talked about that in the many disasters, unfortunately, our governor has had to handle in his 4 years in office. It seems like there's been quite a few things he's had to deal with in his time. So I want to just say that in closing, that Avista will be working around the clock with all of our customers. Words can't express how grateful I am for your continued patience and understanding. This has been a trying time for all of us. The crisis has hit us right before Thanksgiving. That makes it even more frustrating, more hard as you do your holiday planning. We understand that. We're going to do everything we can, and we will not be off the job until every customer's power is restored. Thank you. And Glenn from Inland Power.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Glenn Best. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Inland Power and Light. It's hard to believe that Wednesday the 18th at 5 o'clock in the morning, we had 32,000 of our 40,000 customers out. That's 82% of our membership was without power. In all 13 counties that we serve, people are impacted from this storm. So first and foremost, we want to thank our membership for their patience during this trying time. We want to thank our employees, as Scott mentioned, our linemen that have been out working hour after hour after hour. I want to thank Governor Inslee for being here and supporting us as well through this event. It's been trying for all of us, and there's a lot of pride going on at Inland Power and Light right now, getting the membership back on. I'm happy to say that as I stand here this morning, from our 40,000 members, 32,000 that were out a week ago, almost today, we have 350 of our members left to get power. We've had a lot of pride at our utility wanting to make sure that we can restore 100% of our membership so that they can cook their Thanksgiving dinners. We are confident that we will have the bulk of our membership up by tomorrow afternoon, but we may have a couple of stragglers that could go into Thursday, and their power might come on by Thursday sometime in the morning, but we are confident that we are going to be able to get 100% of our membership base back up by Thursday. That being said, I would like to encourage our customers that do not have power, as Scott mentioned with Avista, to please call our office at this number, 1-877-668-8243. Again, 1-877-668-8243. Please call us. We are pretty confident we have everybody that we know that's out. But if you are out and we don't know about it, we want to hear from you, please. So give us a call today. Even if you're out and you've reported it many times, give us another call so that we can be assured that we know where you're at and that we can get your power restored. The smaller outages are the ones that we're addressing today, the 1 to 5 customers scattered throughout Spokane County primarily. We have crews, 15 additional contract crews that are still on the property with our 7 crews and 2 tree trimming crews. Those crews will remain on our property through the course of this evening, through this event, this wind event that could potentially impact us a little bit. So we will keep them on board, and I can also assure, like Avista, we will continue to have linemen working through Thanksgiving in the event that we still have a few people out of power. They will not be going anywhere. And again, our linemen are very committed, dedicated individuals. So I need to reiterate that as well. So we're pushing to have everybody restored by Thursday. We're pretty confident we can reach that. Again, 350 of our membership left to get restored. And so we're very excited about that. And so at this time, I'd like to return it back to Ed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Scott and Glenn, for your reports from the utilities. A couple of things of note. We really do very much appreciate the hard work and dedication of the utility companies and the close working relationship that we have continued to develop through this crisis. It's really been second to none. And as stated, obviously there may very well be folks out there that do not have their power. With all of the power of these two companies coming together and trying to meet those needs, we just have an opportunity as a community to step forward, step that extra plate or two, and take care of those that might be in need. In addition, we also have worked with United Way to compile a list. They have compiled a list of annual community and church meals over the holiday. And that list is available at unitedwayspokane.org. And we'll hand it out here today as part of the information going out with the press. In addition, I'd like to reinforce the COAD, or the Community Organizations Active in Disasters, a great group of folks who have come together in this time of need and to really try to meet some specific needs. And that group is focused in 3 areas. Hot holiday meals is one of their areas of focus. Access to food over the holidays for individuals that need it. In addition to resupplying our food banks. If you think about the normal draw on our food banks is significant. Always looking for support. Now we've thrown this crisis on top of it. So one of the other things that they are looking at is how do we help resupply as we move into the cold months ahead and another holiday season shortly to follow. Members of the Adventist Community Services and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have stepped forward to support this effort. They're in lockstep with that organization and are helping meet the needs that I have just previously identified. In addition, the Adventist Community Services plan to keep their pantry open today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will be publishing a full list of resources this afternoon, but here's a couple of examples of things that will be open to folks out there in the community. Bowdish Middle School meals will be open Tuesday and Wednesday for dinner from 5 to 7, and Thursday for Thanksgiving dinner from 11 to 2 p.m. In addition, Salk Middle School and Ferris High School will be open today through Sunday. They'll be open 10 to 2 for warming. Food service will be started in the afternoon. Again, those lists will be made available to you so that we can get that word and push it out the best we can to those that we're here to serve. In addition, I'd like to remind everybody that with the wind that's coming, with the moisture that's in the air, wind chill factors should go someplace below 10. So we have to be duly diligent as we take care of those that are vulnerable in our communities. In addition, there are resources posted at SpokaneRegionalHealthDistrict.org. And so you can certainly go to that webpage. One final logistical note for us before we open it up for questions. We will be sending out a joint press release most likely tomorrow. And after that, it is our expectation that the power companies will be doing the communications with the media. Let's see if I missed anything else on my list. In addition, self-reporting of damage assessments. We would encourage you that if you possibly can, self-report damage assessments through Spokane Emergency Management, our webpage. There's a self-reporting tool on there that we kindly received assistance from King County to use their system here in Spokane to self-report damages. It's important for all of us to gather as much information as we can as we move through into the recovery phase of this incident. I'd open the microphone for questions at this time.
Mayor, you mentioned something about firewood. Is the city going to try to make firewood available to folks? Or?
It has been being available. It's through the nonprofit SNAP, Spokane Neighborhood Action Programs. If people need it, they can call 211. And we both have city crews and the SNAP crews that do this on a normal basis.
Anything else? Thanks, folks. Thank you very much. Hey.